Yeah, we gonna do it for the nights in the past we ain't do enough. For the unforgettable nights we couldn't take in, cause we were too busy guzzling the gin. All in till we speed it up.
Let's crown the Eric here, and I have my favorite topic of the day today, comic books. And I promised I'd get it out on Wednesday, and I did for you guys, because you guys are so awesome. So without further ado, we're going to start this right away, because I feel this might be a little bit long. First, comic. Now, when I say comics, and the reason why I'm doing this is because I really want my friends and people who have asked me, like, oh my god, what comics should I read? There's a lot of comic talk going on, a lot of things, a lot of shows based on comics, a lot of movies based on comic books, a lot of comic book culture around, like, oh my god, and it can be so overwhelming to the people who, like, want to get into comics. Where should I start? What should I do? So, without further ado, we're going to start this now for the right way. So here we go. Number 1, and these are in no particular order. Age of Ultron. Age of Ultron. Now, we got to see this movie come out this year. It was Avengers Age of Ultron. But the difference is, with this comic book itself and this comic series, it's a 10-part comic series, and it's awesome. The difference is, between the movie and this, is Ultron in the comic book has taken over Earth. He has taken over the world. He has won. The Avengers are now just a small band of heroes trying to oppose Ultron, trying to figure out a way to stop Ultron, and they come up with the ultimate solution. Now, what makes me really happy about this is so many comic book heroes in the Marvel Universe have died, or they're in the small band of the Avengers trying to take down Ultron, and some of them step up and they do wonderful, miraculous things. Moments, I should say, not things, but have miraculous moments in this story arc. So, Age of Ultron. Not the movie, but the comic book. Number 1. So, here comes number 2. Avengers vs. X-Men. Which is, personally, one of my favorite story arcs that has happened recently. Because the Avengers and X-Men are both of Marvel's, like, top groups that they write about. I mean, you have the Avengers, the Uncanny Avengers, you have all new, all different Avengers coming out, Mighty Avengers, New Avengers, blah blah blah, Avenger, and then you have the X-Men, and they have, you know, their spin-offs is like the Uncanny X-Men, the Extraordinary X-Men, the X-Force, so, and it's just wonderful. What happens in this is that Hope Summers, who is basically exactly what she says she is. She's the hope of the X-Men world. She is being trained to take on the power of the Phoenix, which will actually brighten up the entire X-Men population. She will actually make new X-Men. Because the X-Men are being extinct, there's very few of them, and the Avengers catch wind of this, and they don't want the Phoenix power to come to Hope Summers at all, because the Phoenix Force, which is the Phoenix Force, is such a powerful entity that it will destroy the world. And the Avengers catch wind of this, they go after Hope Summers, try to contain her, and the X-Men fight back. It is a wonderful comic arc, and it has one of the most major character deaths and character betrayals of all time. I shouldn't say of all time, that's false. Of recent time. It has one of the biggest significant character deaths and character betrayals of significant time. So, Avengers vs. X-Men. Definitely a wonderful pickup. You can pick it up in graphic novel form, or if you go on, like, comic stores online and you can want single issues like I have, then you can most likely do that too. But graphic novels are a great way to get all the comics into one. So, speaking of which, my last single issue that I will show you that I want, Batman, Death of the Family. Batman, Death of the Family is awesome, not to be mistaken for Batman, Death in the Family, which was a comic arc that came out before. The difference with this is, this time the Joker doesn't go after just one particular person in the Batman family, he goes after every single one of them. And the reason why this is so significant is because when DC made the New 52, the Joker wasn't seen since Dark Knight. Dark Knight or Detective? No, Dark Knight. The Dark Knight, issue number 1, when he gets his face sliced off and thrown against the wall, and it's disgusting. Hence why if you look at this comic, you can see his face. And that is his face. He's pretty much stapled it back to his head and all that, and it's really gross. So what's really important with that is you didn't get to see the Joker for about a year, and he comes back harder than ever and goes after Red Hood and Red Robin, which is Tim Drake, and Nightwing, and Batgirl again. Yes, Batgirl again. Which, if you don't know anything, the Killing Joke, Joker paralyzed by regarding. So you can kind of figure out how that feels. He also goes after Harley Quinn in the Suicide Squad, and he goes after, obviously, Batman himself. And that's a really good Batman tale. They have it in graphic novel form of just the death of the family, which actually includes the rest of Nightwing and, not the rest of the whole series, but it includes Nightwing and the Teen Titans, which is where Red Robin is, and Red Hood and Batman, and just all in a collected thing. Wonderful story arc for Batman fans. Wonderful story arc for people who want to get into Batman. So moving on. Another comic book storyline that's being made into a movie. The Civil War. Yes, Marvel Civil War. It's coming out next year, which is going to be Captain America the Civil War. And the whole premise is Captain America versus Iron Man, who is Tony Stark, who is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D., and they're fighting over the Pro-Registration Act after a catastrophic event at the beginning of this comic happens. The Pro-Registration Act is an act set in by S.H.I.E.L.D. and the government that will require all superheroes with superpowers to register who they actually are and to a database, and for the world to know, because the world feels unsafe that they don't know who half the superheroes are and what they're capable of. And it will show off that Spider-Man is Peter Parker, that Iron Man is Tony Stark, even though everyone knows that. You know, it'll also show off who Black Panther is and all the masked heroes, which Captain America does not want. He does not agree that that's a very good idea, and he brings up the fact that, you know, for Spider-Man's case, what if, you know, all the Spider-Man baddies know who Spider-Man is, which is Peter Parker, and how would it feel if he went after, and if all his villains went after Aunt May and Mary Jane and anyone he was close to. And that's why Spider-Man in the movie is such a big deal, because he is actually such a very big deal in this comic book story arc right here. So please, before you go watch that movie, I would love for anyone to actually read this ahead of time. It is a wonderful read, and it has shaken the Marvel Universe still to this day. There's still effects of this going on, still. So, again, moving on, we're on number 5, which is a wonderful mainstream TV show and a way better comic book, and it is the hot topic source of all pop culture and all of TV right now. Number 5 is The Walking Dead. And as you can see, this is the Compendium 1, and I suggest getting the very first Compendium, because a lot of people who watch this TV show are going to love the comic book, because it is just much better than the TV show, and much more connecting than I feel than the TV show, because this was written early on in 2003 and has progressed through the time, so it really connects with a lot of the different issues and different styles of people throughout the years. But also, what makes me happy is this comic book is completely done. Hold on, I'm trying to find a good page. There we go. It is completely done in black and white. So recently, we had the new season of The Walking Dead start, and all the flashbacks were in black and white, and that was a tribute to the actual comic book being in black and white. So people who watch the show are gonna love the comic book, and I feel they're gonna really enjoy the storytelling and where the comic book really takes you. Also, I feel at the same time some people won't like it because they're going to be looking for Dale Dixon and Merle and Sasha and Bob and some of the characters that are just made for the TV show, and those characters are not in the comic book. They don't even exist at all. So Daryl and Merle and Sasha and Bob are just made for the TV show. So don't really get your hopes up too much for those types of characters. So Walking Dead, you can find it anywhere. You can find it at Barnes & Noble. You can find it anywhere where graphic novels are sold. So, moving forward. Number 6. Flashpoint. This is awesome. It was also kind of teased a little bit in the new Flash TV show. Flash, which is this guy right here, obviously, goes back in time and he saves his mother from dying. Because he wants to save his mother, and obviously we've seen this in the TV show. If you haven't seen season 1, spoiler alert, he goes back to save his mom, but in the TV show, he lets his mom still die, and he doesn't change anything about the timeline whatsoever. But in Flashpoint, he goes back and he successfully saves his mom, and it changes the whole course of time to the point where when he wakes up, he does not have his powers. He's not the Flash. And Batman is a different Batman, and there's a war going on between Aquaman and Wonder Woman, like a whole world war, nuclear weapon and everything. Cyborg is a guy who works with I believe if I remember, he works for he actually works for the U.S. government trying to get a resistance force to fight against Wonder Woman and Aquaman from destroying the world. And there's also been a movie, a DC animated movie about the Flashpoint series as well. So definitely one of the cooler story arcs. It was actually one of the last story arcs before DC rebooted it and did the whole entire New 52 series of comics. So also really awesome. And it just makes you really wonder, because we all had that question of, oh man, if I can go back in time, I would change this or anything. Well, you always necessarily don't want what you wish for, and that is what happens in Flashpoint with Barry Allen saving his mom. He changes all of history, and it's not necessarily a good thing. So, Flashpoint, definitely another wonderful top 10 I feel you should read if you want to get into comics. And if you want to understand the Flash even better with his powers and all that. So moving forward to the last 4. Number 7. Blackest Night. Blackest Night is a Green Lantern Green Lantern story arc. Personally, Green Lantern is one of my favorite DC heroes besides the Flash and Batman, as well as a couple other DC characters that I don't really need to worry about mentioning right now. But Green Lantern, the Blackest Night story is awesome because it takes all the superheroes that have died and they get resurrected by Black Hand, who is the leader of the Black Lantern Corps. His ring represents, his power ring is death, and he can resurrect dead superheroes. And that's what exactly what he does. He starts resurrecting dead superheroes or superheroes who already have died. He puts a black ring on them and they turn into this. They turn into almost like a zombie. But they are still, well, I shouldn't say they are like a zombie. They are zombies at that point, and Black Hand controls them and they take over the living. And you may be asking yourself, well, how did the dead superheroes who died and came back, how are they able to? Because they died, and Black Hand controls all of death. And it is a tale of survival and emotion, since Green Lantern deals with all of the emotional spectrum of the entire DC universe. So, he deals with all the emotional spectrum. It just deals with a lot of tales of survival. What would happen if the dead superheroes came back to haunt them, and all their actions and decisions to haunt them, as well as the emotional aspect. And it is a wonderful read. A lot of people compare it to, say it was like a comparison to Marvel Zombies. I feel, yeah, it might have came out around the same time as Marvel Zombies and may have been like a contender to see which comic book company would do a better thing for zombies. My whole thing is that the Blackest Night actually continues on later on in the Green Lantern storyline. Even up till now, Black Hand's still a villain and all that, and there's still been talk. They still talk about the Blackest Night sometimes. It even led to, which is pretty cool, the Brightest Day, which is after this, of all the resurrected heroes that died and that came back to life because of the events that happened in Blackest Night. So pick this up. Wonderful tale for Green Lantern. And wonderful tale for anyone trying to get new into comics as well, I feel. Number 8. My favorite. I love this story. I love these comics because they're printed on paper still. Even in the graphic novels, even on the regular comic book single issues, they're still printed on paper, which comics came out originally on, not the plasticky type feel. Fables. Fables is awesome. If anyone likes the show Once Upon a Time, they're gonna love Fables because it takes all of the characters that we grew up on, like Snow White, the Big Bad Wolf, the Three Little Pigs, Rose Red, which is Snow White's sister, Little Boy Blue, Jack and the Beanstalk. It takes Animal Farm. It takes everything. It takes Bluebeard. It takes all of this, like little fables. Obviously hence Fables. It takes all the stories we were told as kids and everything, and they melded them all into one community, which they live in New York City and they live in Fabletown, hiding from their old land that got taken over by a major villain, which I'm not going to say his name. I really want you to read the comic book to know the major villain's name. And they all live together, like the Big Bad, and they all have jobs. It's really awesome. Like the Big Bad Wolf is named Bigsby Wolf, and he's a detective, a chain-smoking detective. And he basically starts trying to be a detective, and it's really great. And he still actually ends up turning into a wolf when he gets angry. And the comic got so popular it based. Telltale actually made a game on it called The Wolf Among Us, which is actually a prequel to Fables. Now, I read in Game Informer when The Wolf Among Us was first getting announced about how this game is based off, how that game is based off of the comic, obviously Fables, and that's what got me into it. And I am hooked on this series. It's such a wonderful series. I feel anyone who likes the whole stories as we grew up as a kid, and anyone who likes the show Once Upon a Time is going to love it. So, Fables. Wonderful pickup. Even play the game. The game is even awesome too. And it's made by Telltale. And I've mentioned before in my previous thing how much I love Telltale games. Telltale games is awesome. Number 9. We're almost to the end here. Number 9. The Batman Nightfall story arc of Batman. Batman Nightfall is set as a story of what would happen if something were to happen to Batman and who would be his successor. Well, Batman, Bruce Wayne, did handpick a successor, and his name is Azrael. Because what happens and it was a protocol to make sure that anything were to happen to Batman, that there would be someone to carry on the mantle or carry on being Batman, to wear his cowl. Because at the end of this, which everyone's already seen, the movie The Dark Knight Rises, and you get to see Bane break Batman's back, the whole reason why is right here. Boom. Bane breaking Batman's back. And the whole first half, or at least the first volume of this right here that I have, is amazing because Bane takes Batman to the edge. He releases he releases the villains, all the baddies from Arkham, and he really pushes Batman to the limit to see how much he can take and how far Batman will go to stop Bane. And Bane takes him to the breaking point, and he snaps him in half. And it's awesome. Even the Volume 2 and Volume 3 is amazing. and I'm not going to spoil it as to why. The whole Nightfall series is awesome, and I feel that's a very good starting point for anyone who wants to get into a Batman comic book, because it really, just those 3 volumes alone, really, really tell a wonderful story of what would happen to Batman should he fall, should he die, should he ever disappear, or if he ever gets too old and needs a successor. So, Batman Nightfall, wonderful, wonderful story. And it also shows so much more of a better version of Bane than what the movies portray. So anyone who just goes off on the movies the version of Bane from the movies is going to get a way better Bane in the comic books. So start with this. And lastly, Watchmen, number 10, Watchmen. I saved this one for last because this is one of the best graphic novels ever. It even says it right here on the front, one of Time Magazine's top 100 best novels. And Time Magazine is a wonderful magazine. It is a top-notch magazine. For them to even list as one of the top 100 best novels should really say something. I mean, a comic book being a top 100 best novel should really show you that this comic is amazing. This graphic novel is amazing. Cannot beat it. It is one of the best pieces of comic book literature written. It is so well done, and the best part is the heroes, which they're not really heroes, they're vigilantes, are not even superpowered. They're regular people dressing up like in a costume, going after and doing, like, being right in justice and just doing the right thing and serving justice to like regular everyday criminals. And it dealt with so much. It dealt with war, it dealt with fear of war, it dealt with advancing technology, it dealt with what would happen if a man became so super smart that could he possibly be a super weapon. It was just a phenomenal graphic novel that came out, and before it was even this graphic novel, it was a set of a comic series among everything else that was going on. It's a phenomenal read, and I highly recommend this. It even had a movie with it, and the movie almost goes pretty much word for word, scene by scene of this graphic novel. You can literally sit here and open it up and be like, yup, oh my god, yup, oh my, wow, you can literally do that. And even better, this right here, this is the graphic novel which has all the Watchmen comics, single Watchmen comics that came out. This is only $20, and you get a wonderful read. It also spawned off a side series not too long ago called Before Watchmen, and it's all of the vigilante main heroes that Watchmen talks about, and they have like their before of like what they were doing beforehand, of like Night Owl, Ozymandias, the Comedian, Silk Spectre, Rorschach, and just other ones like the Minutemen who are labeled in here, and a couple other people. So wonderful read. Please pick this up. Out of any of the ones I told you, at least pick this one up. This is a wonderful, fantastic read. As you can tell, I speak very highly of this one. So yeah, that was my top 10 list of comics you should read. So please like this video. Write comments down below about what comics you think I did a good job describing, what comics you think you want to read, what comics you've already read, what comic movies or shows you like. Please give me that feedback. I love feedback. It's a wonderful thing to have. Also, I'm going to be doing comics. I did it again. Comics always come out on Wednesdays anyway, but I'm going to be doing new videos every Wednesday. Sometimes I may do them earlier, but I'm going to be dropping new videos every Wednesday of every week till I feel I can't do videos no more. Ha! But, going on, please follow my friends Grown Children, Halloween Heartthrob, The GOATDEMON, AJ Fireball. They're all wonderful friends of mine. Grown Children is doing their Extra Life event for children's hospitals this year. Actually, this Saturday, a matter of fact. And I'm probably going to shoot some footage there as well. And maybe I'll shoot some footage with them, do a little crossover if that's really cool, because I know my friend Matt wants to do that. Matt of Grown Children, awesome guy. So please like, share with your friends, have them subscribe to my channel. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe to me, and also share it on your social media accounts, on the Facebook, the Twitters, and all that. So stick around for new videos every Wednesday, and have a wonderful day. Crown the Eric is out of here. I'm gonna go ponder a new idea for a new video, unless someone wants to comment down below for a new topic, or if someone gives me one. Till then, have a great one. Bye. Bye. Get out of here. Run. Go read a comic book. Go read the comic book. Crown the Eric is out of here. Bye.